What's up, everyone? John Rettinger from Techno Buffalo here with a full review for you of the Amazon Kindle Touch. There are a lot of different Kindles available this holiday season. It can be hard to pick the one that's right for you. Let's go ahead and run down the Touch variety and see if it's the proper one for you to get your fingers on. Alright, so my big question when I got the Kindle Touch was, how is the touchscreen going to work? So I want to jump right into that in the review. So this is a complete touchscreen. The only button lives here at the bottom. Those 4 lines are actually one button. It's a home button that takes you, well, obviously back home. You don't have to do much to register a touch on the screen. You don't have to press. It's not a resistive screen. It's certainly not capacitive. It's kind of an infrared sensor. So as soon as your finger breaks, that sensor registers a touch. So if I wanted to say open up the Steve Jobs book, if I just touch it very lightly, it goes ahead and opens up. If you want to turn a page, you just go ahead and give a tap, and it will turn the page. You can see how quickly or slowly the page refreshes. And to go back, you go ahead and go back. Now the idea here is that you can read and navigate pages without, it really doesn't matter if you're left-handed or right-handed, without having to worry where buttons are. You can just go ahead and tap as you read. And that is true, you can do that. I did find, though, that one big problem I had with this navigation was if I accidentally tapped the screen as I was reading. So I was reading a book, I was holding it, and my finger accidentally touched it, suddenly I would be on the next page. One of the major annoyances here with touchscreen. One of the other major annoyances, and one of the problems that I had with the Kindle Touch, are these guys, my fingers. You've got oil on your fingers no matter how many times you wash it, and that oil is going to come off on this screen. And that's fine, that happens on most touchscreens, and like most touchscreens, you can go ahead and clean it. However, if you want to clean this, you're not going to be able to use sort of your shirt or anything to go ahead and clean it off like you might on a capacitive touchscreen, because it's going to register touches. So if you want to clean this, you have to actually either put it on standby or turn the device off to clean it. And I found that smudges were happening quite a bit on this, and it really was impeding my, my reading. I'd get a smudge in the corner, and it would really start to bother me. So cleaning it can be a bit of a pain, something to bear in mind. The navigation, in case you want to get to buttons, if you tap the top, this is where all your menu options are going to live. You can go ahead from the bottom, and you can change your font size, regular, condensed, or sans serif. We'll go ahead and leave that alone. I'll show you what other menu options you've got and how you would access them. So go to, if you want to jump to a particular spot in the book, you go ahead and do that right there. And lastly, X-ray, let you search for a particular word or feature in the book. So you can see Andy Hertzfeld or Newsweek or stuff that's mentioned in this chapter. You can go ahead and jump right to it. It's a very cool feature, and it's unique to the Kindle Touch. Other menu options that you've got here take you to your search at the top or back to menu. And menu is going to be a pretty familiar menu option here. This doesn't matter whether you're in a book or in the main operating system. Turn off wireless, shop in Kindle Store, view bookmarks, and view notes. We'll go ahead and jump on back there. And actually that is a bit contextual whether or not you're in a book or not. You see some different options. All right, so now we're back sort of on the home screen. Let me show you what the menu options are here. Turn wireless off, shop in Kindle Store, settings, a few other things, and experimental. And we'll jump into experimental a little bit later. Let's go ahead and jump into the Kindle Store. Do it either this way or hit the cart up in the menu options. And here's where you can see some other differences between the Kindle Touch and the regular Kindle. We've got Audible audiobooks here, so if you want to get some reading on, if you do want to check out a free book, you go to Audible Podcast/Techno and you can get a free audiobook and you can listen to it via either speakers, or there's a 3.5mm headset jack on the bottom that you can plug into. And this is going to be very familiar. Navigation is going to be very intuitive. Go ahead and search for books, and you can find a book that you want and start to scroll through it. But let's say you want to search. What's the keyboard going to look like? So go ahead and tap the search. And here's where the keyboard is, a relatively uninspired black and white background, but the keyboard does respond very well to the touch. Let's say I wanted to read Freakonomics, one of my favorite books, so that it goes very quickly. And then there's the book, tap it, and I am on my way to reading Freakonomics. And then you get all the same Kindle options you've had before. You can get a sample of the book, you can buy the book directly from here. Let's go ahead and hit the home button and jump back. Let's take a look at some of the experimental stuff. In particular, let's take a look at the web browser. There is an MP3 player in here, there's text-to-speech functionality, but let's look at the web browser. I found this one to be the most interesting. So it's going to load up Techno Buffalo. And one of the first things I wanted to see was how is scrolling going to look on an e-ink display that has to constantly refresh. So instead of me just telling you, let me show you how scrolling is going to look. Not incredibly smooth, but once it stops, it's not bad. It's surprisingly readable. Obviously, the text looks very good. If you want to do this, you can, which was a very kind of pleasant surprise. So you can do pinch to zoom. You can actually use this as a web browser. Certainly, you're not going to be able to view videos or anything like that on it. But for reading simple text you want to get done, you very easily can. Let's go ahead and jump back. You get full bookmarking ability too. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the other experimental stuff. So you've got an MP3 player, listen to MP3 files, and you can sort of drag those directly onto here if you'd like. No MP3 files found. If you had them, it would play them through the integrated speakers. And text-to-speech, while you're reading, it essentially will read to you in a very, very robotic voice. Let's go ahead and jump back home. Let's go ahead and go back into a book. I'm reading the Steve Jobs book right now. And let me show you one more time how the page turning works. So you can do a full flick if you want to turn pages. And the refresh isn't overly fast. Let me bring in, for example, the regular Kindle. This is the version with the buttons. I've got it in a case, in case you're wondering. Let's check the differences in page turning here. So I'm going to go ahead and tap the right side, and I'm going to hit the button here at the same time. Let's see if there's any sort of difference. Pretty close. Let's go back. A little bit faster on the original Kindle, but not by much. So go ahead and push that back. That was one of the questions that I had. The page refresh felt a little bit slower, because perhaps I had to do more motion to get it to change pages here. But still relatively fast in typical Kindle fashion. The battery is going to last you forever. I've had this since launch day, and I still have, with Wi-Fi never turned off, it looks like close to 80–90% of the battery in here. So incredible, incredible battery life. There's one other way that you're going to be able to navigate through here, and that's with the long press. So when you have menu options, it took me forever to figure out how to delete something. If you hold down on it, you get a bunch of options now if you want to, what you want to do with it. You can delete it from here, move applications, archive it, whatever you'd like. Something to keep in mind if you want to get the Kindle Touch. So if you're looking to pick up a Kindle Touch, pricing is going to vary anywhere from $99 with no 3G and special offers up to $189 with 3G and no special offers. So you're going to really run the price gamut. You can pick up the entry-level Kindle for $79. So for a $20 price point, I don't know if I'd recommend picking up the Kindle Touch. When it comes down to picking a gift, I think my go-to gift is going to be the original Kindle. I'm a pretty new school guy, obviously. I love technology, but I also love pushing a button when I want to turn a page. It's funny that something about e-ink and a digital reader feels old school to push a button, although the technology, the e-ink stuff hasn't really been that mainstream very long. But I like having to do that. I like that I can clean the screen without having to turn pages or turn the thing off. It's a little bit thinner. Not that this is a fat device at all, just about 0.4 inches thick. It's a very, very, very thin, but compared to the regular Kindle, it's a little bit on the chunky side. So if you want to have a touchscreen, this is the best implementation that I've seen. It works very well, and if you're going to carry this in your backpack, you will not be disappointed. In typical Amazon fashion, it's a great reader. You get access to Amazon's amazing amount of content, and you sort of get the entry level into that digital world with the Kindle Fire hopefully waiting for you next to usher you into the video side of things. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. If it came down to me purchasing the Kindle Touch or the regular Kindle, I'd go regular Kindle. But if someone gave me a Kindle Touch, I would be very, very, very happy to call it my e-reader of choice. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. I'm John Rettinger from Techno Buffalo. Be sure to check out the website for all your tech news, including unboxings and hands-on. And I will see you, or talk to you rather, in the next video.